Hello everyone, it's Crystal. Today we're going to go over the terms realize, notice, understand, tell, and recognize. All of these terms can be translated as the Korean word 알다, but when and how we use these terms can be quite different. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with realize. When we realize something, we become aware of it, sometimes suddenly. We use this with something that we did not know or did not notice before. As soon as I realized something was wrong, I made changes immediately. He suddenly realized how big the problem really was. They did not realize how much it would really cost to buy a house.
I just realized that I'm drunk already. I just realized that I'm drunk already.
Compare this to understand. Understanding something is when you know it, how it works, happens, feels, behaves, and so on. Did you understand what she just said? I don't quite understand how all this works. I think we really understand each other now.
You not understand. You not understand.
The largest difference between realize and understand is that we use realize when we become aware of something that we didn't know before. Consider this sentence. I just understood that I left my bag in the taxi. This sentence is incorrect because you became aware that your bag was not with you and that it was still in the taxi. So you didn't know before, but now you do. So we should use realize in this situation, not understand. So we should say, I just realized I left my bag in the taxi. You can also see that realize is often used with terms like suddenly, just, quickly, soon, or instantly. Let's move on to notice. Noticing is the action of seeing or becoming aware of something. This is usually because you see, hear, or feel something, and then you become aware of it. Did you notice how tired he looked today? I didn't notice the fire until I started to smell smoke. I noticed you were really quiet during the meeting. Everything okay?
Notice anything different? Notice anything different?
The difference between notice and realize is that noticing something is usually related to your senses, like seeing, hearing, smelling. Realizing something is more mental, something you thought about or you came to understand. Look at these sentences. I noticed my boyfriend did not eat carrots. I realized my boyfriend disliked carrots. In the first sentence, I saw my boyfriend take carrots out of his meal and he did not eat them. So I used my physical senses and became aware of this habit. In the second sentence, I understood something about this situation, that he probably disliked carrots, so he did not eat them. Let's look at recognize. This is when you know or identify something because you have seen, heard, or experienced it before. It is familiar to you. I hardly recognized you with your new haircut. Do you recognize this song? I am sure you would recognize him if you saw his face.
Do you recognize this? Do you recognize this?
Compared to notice, recognize usually involves having some previous experience with something so you can identify it. While with notice, it is usually just a physical observation. Look at these sentences. I noticed the man. I recognized the man. Noticing the man is just an observation. I saw him and then I became aware he was there. Recognizing the man means that you are familiar with him because of some past experience. Maybe you saw him in your university class, and that is why you recognize him.
They might notice her, but they won't recognize me.
Next is tell. This means to know or to find out by observing. This is usually combined with could or can plus tell. I could tell you were unhappy with the results. They are Korean. How can you tell? They are speaking Korean to each other. Can you tell the difference between Pepsi and Coca-Cola?
How can you tell?
I can always tell.
How can you tell?
I can always tell.
Finally, listen to this and see if you can understand. I noticed those two guys were speaking another language. I couldn't tell what language it was at first, but then I realized they were speaking Korean. I recognized a few words that I actually understood. So let's break this down. I observed and became aware that two guys were not speaking English. Then I didn't know through my first observation what language it was. But I soon became aware that the language was Korean. I was familiar with some words that I actually knew the meaning of. I really hope you all have a better understanding about the differences between these terms. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Like and subscribe for new content. And until next time, bye!